Yeah. And we back. 93.7 The Ticket. I am the captain, Rashawn Jackson. On the phone, I got another legend, 4-time black shirt, Tyrone Byrd.com, like I like to say. T-Bird, what's up, man?
Hey, DJ, how you doing, my man?
Man, I can't complain at all, man. I'm glad you graced us with your presence, man. What you up to?
I'm in the office right now. I'm just was working off some stuff this morning, but
you at the TyroneByrd.com office?
Say that again?
You at the TyroneByrd.com office?
Yeah, so doing this insurance thing with State Farm. So there were some wildfires out here last week. So it was about 1,000 homes that burned down. So just here trying to make sure we're taking care of our customers.
Nate. I just talked to Nate the Skate. So
yeah, I was listening to some of that. I got about the last 15 minutes.
Okay,
before I got the call.
So T-Bird, talk to me for a minute. Before we even get into football, okay? Talk to me a little bit about TyroneByrd.com, and talk to me about what type of insurance, where you at. Let the Husker fans kind of know what you got going.
Sounds good. So I reside here in Denver, Colorado. My office is about 12 miles northeast of downtown Denver. We just finished our 5th year with State Farm Insurance, and State Farm Insurance is the number one auto insurer of auto, homeowners, and life insurance. And we also do small business insurance. And I have 2 employees. I have Tracy Schwer. She actually lives in West Point, Nebraska. We went to college together, and she lives there about an hour north of Omaha. So I'm based here in Colorado, but we're licensed in both Nebraska as well as Arizona. So we're able to sell those policies in all 3 states.
Very, very, very nice. We look forward to working with you on 93.7 The Ticket. Now, T-Bird, talk to me about you from Chandler, Arizona, right?
Correct.
How in the world did you make it to chilly, cold, snowy Lincoln? How did that happen?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Because on my recruiting trip, it was the second time I ever saw snow. And it was 2 degrees. The wind chill was about 40 below. And my mom actually flew out to Nebraska on my recruiting trip with me. And she was sitting at the Cornhusker Hotel, now the Marriott, and in front of a fire, having room service. She's enjoying her trip. And you just got off the phone with Nate. He's actually my host. So Nate had picked me up and took me around, and I'm freezing. I don't even have a winter coat. I don't have gloves, and I am freezing my tail off. So I have no idea why I ended up at Nebraska.
What did you know, though? What did you know?
My mom wanted me to go there. She trusted Coach Osborne. She said, he's the only honest coach that's recruiting you, and I believe you need to go to Nebraska. And that's all I needed to hear. I was raised by an incredible mom, and that's what she wanted. So that's what I ended up doing.
Coach Osborne put that Coach Osborne magic on the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, it was crazy when Coach came to my house, because it was all of my family. I had so much family in there that I had to walk out because it was just too loaded. But by the time my family was in there clapping for him, and that's where you're going when we get through with everything. You're going to Nebraska if you get an opportunity. So
yeah, he knew what he was doing. So he was able to get guys from everywhere. So he's a special man, and I feel honored to be able to say I ever played for him.
So you make it to the university. It's your freshman year. What happens?
So actually, in the All-Star game in Arizona, I was the defensive player of the year in the state of Arizona at that time, and I got injured. The third play in the All-Star game, it was a freak. I slipped. It was kind of muddy out there. It had rain that whole week, and I ended up slipping and had a lower injury in my leg. And I actually got to Nebraska on crutches, and they had to run some X-rays, and I figured out that I had a hairline fracture down in my lower leg. So I ended up getting redshirted, my goal was to come to Nebraska and make the traveling squad as a freshman, true freshman. They had the kickoff classic that year. It was 1988, and they were playing Texas A&M in New Jersey. So I was hoping to make that trip. So I was, geared up. Went through the playbook. I knew all the plays. I knew all the check calls, and I was ready to go. But then I ended up getting injured, came on crutches, and got redshirted. So I set out that whole year and just physically got ready, hit the weight room. Heard you guys talking about, Boyd, and I just hit that weight room all year and got ready for the 1989 season.
So 1989, and again, those years were really, really critical for me because I was a young guy. I was probably 13, 14 years old. And I used to come to those games and watch you guys and just want to emulate myself after you guys. Talk about being a black shirt, what those practices look like at the universities back in those days, 89 to 92.
So when I came in, I knew, hey, this is a top 10 team. Every year we had a chance to play for a championship, and everything goes well. No one gets injured, and we play as a team. We always had a shot, and that's why a lot of people went to the University of Nebraska back then. And I came in with that mentality that, hey, listen, I think I'm a pretty good player, and I got to compete and I got to earn it. And that was my purpose. I came in like, hey, I want to help this team be successful. I used to watch them play against Oklahoma, and it seemed like they struggled in the mid '80s, and they recruited a lot of speed at the time. So I remember our recruiting class. A lot of the articles spoke about, hey, listen, we got more speed. We had guys like Tyrone Hughes that came in, Tyrone Leggett. They were in our Travis Hill, David White. Those guys were all in our recruiting class. So we came in. I think that the main focus is like, hey, listen, we need to beat Oklahoma year after year, and it get us a chance to get to the Orange Bowl and play for a championship. So I came in there understanding that, okay, this is why we're here. We're here to bring a championship to this team. And we brought a lot of talent in, but I know it's going to be competitive, and I'm a competitor. I want to win. And I'm like, hey, I think I got a pretty good shot of earning a black shirt. And that's what happened. Marvin Sanders was a senior that year, and we both earned a black shirt. He started the first few games, but in some of the games I actually played more. I had more possession, as far as getting in the game. I remember the second game we played Utah. I think I had 70 plays. He ended up having like 20 plays, but he actually started the game. And the whole time I just felt like, hey, listen, I'm the starter. I'm the guy. And Marvin was a heck of a player as well. But I just felt like, hey, listen, this is my spot. And every time I get in there, I'm gonna show that I should be the guy.
Sure. So let's talk about before we get into, because I kind of want to get into, because you was one of my favorite players growing up, and then you had the accident. How did that? You know what I mean? I mean, that's got to be tough going into. We talked about Brooke Behringer, his senior year, and then kind of getting into the accident that took his life. But you actually had a pretty serious accident your senior year, but you bounced back. Talk a little bit about that perseverance and that accident and what it did to change your life.
Rashawn, I appreciate you, bringing that up because, speaking with Nate, and I know that we were talking to Keith McCann the other day when we all spoke, but some of those practices and just the game of football, and that's why I love the game since I was a kid. I just remember watching college football, when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I was really into it. I didn't play video games. I didn't do that. I wanted to watch football. And because of that, I just knew, the passion that I had for it. So when I got to Nebraska, I was like, these guys, it's one of the best programs in the country, and I was like, and if I have the right attitude and I put the work in it, then, the sky's the limit. And I always, dreamt of playing at the professional level. After that freshman year in 1989, when I played, you guys mentioned Tim Jackson, and he was with the Cowboys at the time. And I remember him coming in and he was showing me some reports of all the rated players, and and I didn't think about this at the time, but he showed me. He was like, you know what, you're a top 5 defensive back in the whole country. He was like, and you're the number 2 rated safety at this point, behind George T, who went to the University of Alabama and played for the Cowboys as well. And he was like, right now you're the number 2 rated safety in the entire country. And I felt like I was a pretty good player, but it kind of opened my eyes, like, you know what, you're doing the right things. You just got to keep going. And I had some injuries, my junior and senior year, that kind of prevented me from being invited to the combine and some of those things. So I had dropped from probably a projected first round pick down to probably a second or a third round pick at that time. And I had pulled my hamstring. So it was a disappointment. And then, for those that don't know, I was involved in a serious car accident. A buddy of mine, Chip Stone, he was a swimmer at the university. He passed away in the accident. And that really opened my eyes as far as, hey, listen, he lost his life. Football's football, but I'm still living. I still got an opportunity to pursue other dreams and to be successful in life. So that put things in perspective. When he actually passed away in the accident, he was about to graduate. He was the only child, and I felt bad for his parents and what they had to go through, compared to what I had to go through as a 23-year-old senior with an opportunity to play at the professional level. But life happens, and things happen for a reason, and I feel like I've learned many lessons from that. But no, I had a really good career at Nebraska. I had a lot of great memories, a lot of great friends, and I'm just glad that we can even talk about these things now that I'm still alive to do it.
Right. When that song come on, you know about this song? You heard that song? Which version?
You talking about Stevie Wonder there.
Can you hear that Stevie Wonder part-time lover? Yeah, dog. Hey, so listen, Tyrone, stick around with us for the next segment. I got to get ready to go to break. I appreciate you calling in because we got a couple more things I want to definitely touch on and talk about. It's Rashawn Jackson. I'm with T. Byrd. It's The Ticket, 93.7.
Beatrice Bakery has been serving Nebraska with one-of-a-kind Grandma's Fruitcake since 1964. You already know that, but did you know they offer way more than that? You've got to try their line of liqueur cakes, like the strawberry daiquiri cake or the vanilla rum cake. Or what about their breakfast breads, the banana nut bread, or their various streusel coffee cakes? Whatever the occasion, Beatrice Bakery has something for you. Oh yeah, and Grandma's Fruitcake? It's still pretty darn good. Beatrice Bakery, located in downtown Beatrice, or always online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com. Hi, Sean Callahan here of huskeronline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Early break with Sip and Shake.
I mean, so many things you turn on now. You say it ain't so. Miami's not playing in the Sun Bowl.
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. Sorry about that, Lincoln.
Might
And
find
everybody.
promo here today, so you never know.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the sidetrack band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
A warmer but windy day on the way as winds by late this afternoon could gust over 40 miles per hour. A wind advisory will be in effect late this afternoon through tonight. We'll top out near 46. Bitterly cold air starts to move in tonight with a low of 9. Only a high of 14 tomorrow and a chance of snow by tomorrow night. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So fresh and so clean. Man, you coming with it today, Nick. So fresh and so clean. Welcome back. I'm the captain, Rashawn Jackson, 93.7 The Ticket. With one of my super friends, another super friend. Nick, we ain't stopping with the super friends, man. I got a lot of super friends. There's a lot of years that we got Nebraska football players that came through that university that I know. TyroneByrd.com just happens to be one of them. And I'm talking Bird with the Y and not the I. T-Bird.
Hey, what's up?
Talk to me about, it's been 20 plus years since you played at Nebraska. What's the difference?
I think that's a good question, VJ. I think the difference is we have not seen true Nebraska football in a long time. So now the kids playing high school ball, they don't even really consider Nebraska being who we know Nebraska should be and used to be.
What is that though? When you say that though, what is that? What is true Nebraska football?
So true Nebraska football to me was a respect for the game, playing the game the right way. Nate mentioned this earlier. It doesn't matter what color you are, where you come from, what state. You come in together as a team. You push each other. You help each other, and you challenge each other. And that's how we used to practice. And we all say this over and over. But many of the games used to be easy because of how hard we practiced during the week. I remember playing the Pac-10 back then. It's the Pac-12 now. And I always thought that conference was soft because they didn't want to play us because we were so physical. And that's how it used to be, and it's just hard to watch now because, we had guys, one of the guys that played after me that I think is probably the best defensive back ever in Nebraska history, Mike Brown, and he also is from Arizona.
Mike Beasley.
He used to set the tone when he came in from play one, we would set the tone and let people know this is how it's going to be all day. And you had a lot of teams, a lot of players that didn't want to deal with that. And we had guys like Corey Schlesinger in practice. You didn't want to hit Corey, you know. And when you watch him in the fourth quarter against Miami in the '94 season, those defensive backs didn't want to hit him because he set the tone all game, and that's how you win championships. And I just don't see that anymore. That's not how we play ball anymore, unfortunately.
Do you think
we got to get back to that kind of football?
Do you think it's an era thing, or it's a person thing? It's a coaching thing? What is that thing that keeps us from being or knowing our identity as Nebraska football?
I think it's a combination of all that. It always starts at the top with the coach. I mean, the coach has to go out and set the tone and expectation. But I mean, I watched the Alabama-Cincinnati game, and everyone expected Alabama to throw the ball all over the place. What they do? They ran the ball.
Yeah, they played to their strengths. They said, Cincinnati,
they ran the ball.
You
they
cannot
knew,
stop
hey,
us.
These guys can't stop the run. We got a strong running back that's gonna go downhill. And I think the first 8-9 plays was run. We used to do that because it didn't matter if we were going to run the ball. You knew we were going to run the ball because we had guys like DJ, Nate Turner. We had guys that, hey, I'm gonna beat you all game long. You're my guy. I'm gonna dominate you. And when you have guys that have that mindset, you're gonna win a lot of football games. And obviously, Alabama has that mindset. Georgia has that mindset. And there's guys out there, we just aren't getting them.
What do we need to do to turn this program? What do you think, as a program, we need to do to turn it around?
Well, I think honestly, and we've talked about this before, but a lot of people don't want to look in the mirror when things aren't going right. We're a society that likes to point the finger at other people and blame everybody else versus like take responsibility. And I think that starts at the top, at the coaching staff. Like, I was one of the only players I think last year talking about. I thought we were going to go 3-9. I told a lot of family and friends, like, we're a better team than that. But because of the lack of discipline, we keep turning the ball over. And we're not playing as a unit and holding each other accountable as players. That's why we went 3-9. We were easily a 9-3 team. Could have been better than that. But when you're not disciplined and people don't hold each other accountable, and you can keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and nothing gets said, then you get the same result. And that's, it's not that we don't have talent. And Michigan played in the playoffs, and we had them beat. But then again, we're marching down the score and turn the ball over again, and it just gets old. And I know back then I was the kind of player, I'm going to say something to you.
Well,
and I expect my teammates to do the same if I'm keep making the same mistakes over and over again.
But that's just it. Back then, the players took more ownership of the team. There was times I got in trouble, didn't go to class, that I had some older guys calling me, talking about, hey, we need to talk to you. And and it didn't take them to talk to me more than twice before I understood that, okay, I need to take my butt to class so I don't have to have these conversations anymore. And I think that's what's missing is the players have to take more ownership of their football team and not let mediocrity set in and mediocrity set in and think that that's okay. That's not okay. It's not okay to be 3-9 at Nebraska. It's not okay. It's not okay to have a losing season at Nebraska. That's not okay.
I agree 100%. VJ, if you're a competitor, I say this all the time. When I used to play pickup basketball, I would watch the guys before and say, hey, listen, that person sets picks, he rebounds, he plays defense. He probably can't shoot, but I'll score because I'm trying to win. So I want that guy on my team because he's going to do all the dirty work because I'm trying to win. I don't care who looks good. Who's going to do the dirty work and help us win championships? And I don't think recruiting at Nebraska is focused on that right now. It's, oh, he's a 4-star. He looks good. He's 6'3", 240-pound linebacker. But when you put on the tape, is he making every tackle? Is he dominating? Whether they're winning or losing. And I just don't see that happening. We're not getting those kind of guys. Like the Baron Miles that comes in and is undersized but just dominates a game, blocks almost every punt because he wants to win. Like, are we getting those kids? I just don't think we're getting those kids anymore.
Is it? I know. You think it's just a directional thing, or is it just more of a we just don't get it?
Part of me believes that if you don't know, you really don't know. And I just think some of the coaching staff that we've had in the last few years, and this is not just on Scott. I just think for the last 15, 20 years, a lot of those coaches don't understand who the competitors are. Those kids that might be undersized, Nate called them dogs. Those guys that, I don't care, they got fight in them. They'll fight you all day. I don't care what size. You know, we had guys like Ernie Beeler on our team.
Oof.
That'll fight you. Toby Wright, that'll fight you all day long. Like I said, I mentioned Corey Schlesinger earlier. You know, then you know, we always mention, you know, LP. I didn't get to play with him, but I knew he was a guy you didn't want to fight him. And that's how you take over games and dominate other teams. And we just don't have those guys. You know, we have a lot of athletic guys, but I bet the vast majority of them never been in a physical fight where they had to fight to survive.
Wow. You heard it right here, man. TyroneByrd.com. If you're looking for insurance, TyroneByrd.com. Tyrone, I need you to come back, man. I got another one more guest I gotta hit at the top of the hour, but I feel like we kind of it's unfinished business here.
Absolutely. You know, I'm here for you. You know, we got this bond that'll never die. You know, Nebraska, like I said, the true Nebraska football. You know, there's a lot of fans out there. I just feel sorry for the fans because they got the best fans in the world, and we're just not getting what we deserve. And I hope soon that we'll get back to playing the kind of football that we can all be proud of.
Perfect. Hey, Tyrone, give me your best Go Big Red, man.
Go Big Red!
Yeah! Hey, I'm with Tyrone Byrd. He's on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 464-5685. If you want to text, Sauter Heyman hotline, 464-5685. I'm Vershawn Jackson. It's the captain. We're on the ticket, 93.7. Let's go.